It was late afternoon when an elderly woman in her late 60s picked up her phone, her face tight with anger. Someone had been calling her nonstop. Finally, she answered, trying to stay calm. "Hello," she said sharply. A man's voice responded, low and serious. "Am I speaking to Mrs. Elizabeth?" "Yes, this is she." "Who is this?" she asked, confused. "I'm a doctor," he said. "I found your number in Miss Olivia's favorite contacts." "Ma, please, you need to hurry to the hospital right now." Mrs. Elizabeth's heart dropped. "Olivia," she whispered. Without another word, she rushed into the sitting room and grabbed her car keys from the table. Her 3 grandchildren, triplets, were watching a movie on the couch. "Grandma, where you going?" Chloe asked, turning to her. "I'll be right back," Elizabeth said, trying to hide her panic. She looked at the children, Chloe, Joey, and Zoe.
No one goes outside.
Do you hear me?
Stay indoors.
Stay indoors.
It's not safe
safe outside. Can we
No,
come with
I'm
you?
going to see your mother
Joey
in the
asked.
hospital.
No.
Just stay here.
I'm going to see your mother
I'll
in the
return
hospital.
soon.
Just stay here. I'll return soon. As she rushed out the door, Zoe turned to her siblings. Why is Grandma in such a hurry?
I don't
Should
know.
we follow
she seemed
her?
Worried.
Chloe
Maybe
asked,
it's something
uncertain.
important.
No, Zoe said firmly. Grandma said it's dangerous. But
But
I'm
I'm
hungry, Joey
There's
complained.
no food in the house.
There's no food in the house. Chloe glanced at the door. Maybe we can go out and find some food, and maybe we'll see Mom or Grandma on the way. That's a great idea, Joey said, his eyes lighting up. Chloe grabbed a house key, and the 3 of them stepped outside, locking the door behind them. As they walked across the stress, they found themselves in the middle of a quiet, unfamiliar road. "Where are we?" Joey asked. "I don't know," Zoe replied. "It's dark and lonely here." "We should go back," Chloe said nervously. "But I don't even know the way home anymore." "Let's keep walking forward," Zoe suggested. "Maybe we'll find someone who can help." They continued walking. Soon, the dark road opened up into a dazzling city street. Wow, this place is beautiful.
Look at
Chloe
those tall
cried out
buildings
with
and all the
joy.
lights.
"Look at those tall buildings and all the lights. There's so many people here," Joey said, tears forming in his eyes. "We'll never find Mom or Grandma. We're lost. We should wait for the police."
We should wait for the
Zoe
police.
said calmly.
Mom and
Mom
Grandma always say the
say
police are our friends.
They sat quietly in front of a restaurant, watching people pass by, their small bodies huddled together for comfort. The city around them was alive with lights, sounds, and movement, but no one seemed to notice them at first. People rushed past, absorbed in their own lives, and the children's worried eyes followed every passing shadow. After a while, a few passers-by glanced at them curiously. 2 couples, walking hand in hand, stopped briefly and whispered to each other, pointing at the children. "What are those children doing here?" One of the women asked softly. "They must be waiting for their parents," the man replied, shrugging uncertainly. Nearby, another woman watching them frowned for a moment, debating whether she should approach. "Should we ask them if they need help?" she wondered aloud. "No," her companion said gently, shaking her head. "Maybe they're just waiting for their parents. Let's not scare them." The children didn't know how to explain themselves. Their small hands clutched each other tightly, their eyes scanning every passerby with hope and fear. Then, a sleek black Range Rover pulled up nearby. A tall man with long hair stepped out and approached them. "Hello, children," he said kindly. "Why are you sitting here outside my restaurant? Are you waiting for someone?"
Are you waiting for
"No,
someone?
sir."
No, sir,
Chloe
we're waiting
replied.
for the police.
"We're waiting
We're
for
lost."
police." "The police?" The man blinked, surprised. "Why?" "We're lost," Joey said. "Mom and Grandma said the police help find missing people." The man knelt down to their level. "That's very smart of you. My name is Mr. George. Can I take you to the police station?" Zoe pulled her siblings aside. "We don't know this man.
What
What
if
if he's a kidnapper?"
But he
But he said
he
wants to help
I
us.
still don't trust him.
Chloe whispered. "He looks nice, and nobody else has even asked about us." "I still don't trust him." Mr. George approached again. "How old are you kids?" 5, Joey said. "And how did you get here?" "We were looking for our mom," Chloe said quietly. "We're not supposed to talk to strangers," Zoe added. "I understand," Mr. George said gently. "You're being very brave and protective. But let me help you. I can't leave you alone out here. It's not safe. Please, let me take you to the police. But, sir, Joey said with a weak voice, we're hungry. Mr. George smiled kindly. Well, you're in luck. This is my restaurant. Come on inside. Let's get you something to eat first. He called a waitress and ordered food for them. This is delicious, Chloe said excitedly, stuffing her mouth. I've never eaten anything this good, Joey added. But Mom's cooking still tastes better, Zoe said with a small smile. Mr. George chuckled. Something about these kids touched him deeply. In less than an hour, they had brought back a feeling he hadn't felt in years, joy. He didn't know why, but he felt strangely connected to them. When they finished eating, he said, All right, kids, let's get to the police station before it gets darker. At the station, Mr. George explained everything to the officers. These kids are lost. Please help find their parents. Here's my phone number and house address. Call me if there's any news. As he walked them back to his car, Joey asked, Sir, can we come with you? We don't want to be alone. Of course, but let's first get you some clothes. Mr. George drove them to a shopping mall and headed inside to buy clothes and shoes, while the children waited safely in the car with the driver. He looked at all the things he had bought for the kids and let out a sigh, then gave himself a light slap on the face. Oh no, am I doing too much? Or should I get more? He paused, staring at the bags in his hands. I think this is okay, he said to himself as he stepped out of the mall. The driver rushed over to take the bags from him.
Do you
Sir,
plan to buy
this
the
is a
entire
lot.
store?
Do you plan to buy the
I thought of
entire
getting more,
store?
but I think this will do for
George chuckled. I thought of getting more, but I think this will do for now. As he turned to get into the car, he noticed the kids were fast asleep. I don't know why I feel so connected to these children, he whispered. I wish I was their father. Back at the house, he asked the cleaner to prepare a room for the kids and to help care for them. He gently carried Chloe and Joey, while the driver carried Zoe. He laid them all down on his own bed, waiting for the cleaner to finish preparing their room. Then he walked into the bathroom to freshen up. Later, the cleaner quietly moved the kids into their new room. George walked into the kids' room and saw them awake. Good morning, my queens and king. He greeted them with a warm smile. How was your night? Good morning, sir, they replied together. We slept well. Sir, did the police call you? Zoe asked, her voice small. It's too early for questions, he said gently. Let's freshen up and have breakfast downstairs. After that, we'll talk, okay? Okay, sir. He called for one of the cleaners to help get the kids ready, a kind, elderly woman with soft gray hair. You look like our grandma, Chloe said with teary eyes. I miss home. This house is too big. The woman smiled kindly. Don't cry, sweetheart. Mr. George is a very good man. He won't harm you. Come on, let's get you freshened up so you can join him for breakfast. She bathed and dressed him in the clothes George had bought. Then they headed down to the dining room. While they were eating, George got a call. It was the police. Hello, sir, the officer said. We found the kid's grandmother. She's at the station now. Okay, thank you, George said, and then called. He felt a mix of joy and sadness. I'm going to miss these kids so much. It feels like my happiness is being taken away. Have the police found my grandma? Zoe asked. Yes, George said gently. Finish your food so I can take you to her. At the police station, the children ran to their grandmother and hugged her tightly. Grandma, where's Mom? She's still in the hospital, the old woman said tearfully. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you
she
so
added,
much, sir.
Turned to George.
I'm deeply
grateful.
I don't even know how I'll tell their mother
that
that her children
went missing.
It's okay.
It's okay, George said. He knelt beside the children. Be good, all right? Don't make your parents worry again. He hugged them, holding back his emotions. Mrs. Elizabeth, can I have your address? I'd love to visit them sometimes, he asked softly. Yes, you can, she replied. But then Zoe held her grandma's hand. I don't want to go home. I want to stay with George. Me too, the others chimed in. George has been so kind to us. Can we stay until Mom gets better? George was shocked. They feel the same way I do. Mrs. Elizabeth stared at them in disbelief. It's only been 2 days and you're all this attached to a stranger?
Fine.
Then she sighed. Fine, you can stay with him. The children jumped for joy. Mrs. Elizabeth. George said gently, "Which hospital is Olivia in? I'd like to take the children to see her." When the kids saw their mother, they ran into the room, crying. George turned to the doctor. "What's wrong with her?" "She's been suffering from high blood pressure," the doctor explained. "She's always overthinking. Stressed? I've told her several times to rest, but she wouldn't listen. Thank God someone found her unconscious and brought her here." "How much is the bill?" George asked and went to pay.
Sir,
"Sir,"
are those your children?
the doctor said.
No, they're not.
"Are those your children?" George smiled. "No, they're not. Why do you ask?" "They look like you," the doctor replied. "But it's fine. I was just curious." That stirred something deep in George's heart. He returned to the room and asked Elizabeth quietly, "Where is their father?" She sighed. "I don't know. Olivia got pregnant while she was working. He left, and she's been raising them alone ever since." Suddenly, Olivia opened her eyes. Mama's awake." The kids cried out, running to her. "Why did you sleep so long, Mommy?" "We were scared." Joey sobbed. "I'm so sorry," she whispered. "I promise not to sleep for this long again." George and Elizabeth walked to her bedside. "How are you feeling?" George asked. "I'm fine.
Thank you for
Thank
everything.
you
for
for
taking
everything.
care of my children.
For taking care of my
Doctor says you
children."
need rest. I can take you
The
home.
doctor says you
You've
need
already done
rest.
so much.
I can
George
take a
said,
taxi.
"I can take you home, my home, if you don't mind." "You've already done so much," Olivia said. "I can take a taxi." "No," George replied softly. "I mean to my house. The doctor said you need full rest. My house is peaceful. I have staff who will take care of everything. You just need to heal. And when you're better, you can go
You
home."
want to give you joy.
Olivia's eyes widened with surprise. "Your house?" she asked softly. "Yes," he smiled. "Please, just say yes." Olivia didn't know how to thank him. With tearful eyes and a hopeful heart, she nodded. When they got home, Olivia stood in awe. "Wow, look at how big this mansion is," she said softly. George smiled warmly. "Do you have any family?" she asked curiously. He nodded with a grin. "Yes, you and the kids are my family now." Olivia blushed and looked away shyly as they walked inside. George turned to the cleaner. "Prepare a room for Olivia and take the kids upstairs to theirs," he instructed. Olivia followed the children. When she stepped into their room, she was stunned. It was beautifully decorated, like a dream. "George is such a good man. I'm so happy. My kids are finally living the life I always wished for them," she thought. She then went to her own room to freshen up. As she unzipped her dress, the door suddenly opened. Mr. George stood there, startled. "Oh, no. I'm so sorry. I didn't know you were." "It's okay," Olivia said quickly, smiling. "I just wanted to ask, do you like your room?" "Yes, I love it. It's beautiful."
Yes, I love it. It's beautiful.
"That's great.
That's great.
And that mark on your neck,
how did you get it?
how did you get it?"
I
"Oh,
was
this?
born with it.
I was born with it." George paused. He stepped out and shut the door, but his mind was spinning. "That mark. It's exactly like the woman I had a one-night stand with had. Could Olivia be that woman? And the kids, do they look like me? Even the doctor once said something about that. No, maybe I'm overthinking, but I have to know." He picked up his phone. "Hello, James. I need you to investigate a woman named Olivia. I want everything you can find on her. Fast." "Yes, sir."